I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Hunter, and this is
the Family Showdown! Howdy folks, and welcome back to my top 100 games of all time 2021 edition. And today, Hunter and I are going to explore the worst of the best, the 50 through 41. Dun, dun, dun. This is where the games get really good, right?
Well, I was pleasantly surprised by your last 10.
There you go.
So let's see if we can keep the good times rolling.
Oh, we will. We shall.
We will, that remains to be seen.
Well, tell you what, we're going to start off with my number 50, and it was my number 37. And I know you like this one too, not as much as me, but still quite a bit. And that is The Networks. This game, we have to hold the box because it is chock full. Chock full. See that? Oh, tasty goodness. So this is a fun little game where you are going through and you are a network company and you want to fill your time slots with things that viewers are going to watch, because viewers are victory points. And the more viewers you have, the more you're going to win the game. How do you do that? Well, you want to there's certain shows that do better at certain time slots, and sometimes they need special actors or products to advertise during these times. And so you're going to try to put them into these different time slots. Meanwhile, you're taking them from a set tableau of stuff that you can pick from for that round. Everyone else is picking from those same too. So it's possible that Hunter may want the same kinds of shows that I do, because they're also different genres and different things like that. And they have, again, some of them give you better viewers if you link together a sports action person versus, with a sports show and things like that. So you're mixing and matching all of this stuff, trying to get the best time. Over time, as they get, go into syndication or things like that, they might change their viewership, or after a while, some of them just fade away and people quit watching them. So you have to go through all of this. You go through several rounds, and the person with the most viewers at the end wins. Oh my goodness, this is so much fun. I just love it. It's got a lot of tongue-in-cheek, like spoof names of shows and actors and people, and great expansion. I don't know.
Covered it all. I have nothing else to say.
I know. I was like, what would you like to add to that? There's some fun.
Oh no, I like it. It's a good one. It's got some set collection. You can try to get lots of the same shows, or got diverse shows or whatever. It's a good one. It's got a nice little build up. It starts off and you got a crappy show like the end of night signal and like cats sleeping and stuff like that. It's
so
crappy
terrible.
show. Eventually you're after better shows, better actors, better commercials, and it has a nice little progression. Some shows kind of ramp up as time goes by. Some start off really hot and then they go down really quickly. So you got to know when to switch gears and swap out your shows. Lots of good choices, and you get special powers and different things. And if you get the expansion, you have executives involved and all sorts of weirdness going on.
Yeah,
it's a good one. It's a fun one. It's one of those where it has a nice flow to it, a nice build up. It's a good one.
Yeah, and it's easy to play again and with a lower reteach each time, right? Because you get more familiar with it and everything. So
it's a good one.
It's a lot of fun, and that's my number 50. So we're off to a good start then. And then my number 49 was my 39 last year. So this one was also in the 30s. And that is a Stefan Feld game, Macau. Has this been rethemed and Macau changed off into other things?
Yeah, it's going to. There's the new Feld City Collection is coming out soon-ish, as I've been filming this. And it's getting redone. I don't know the names of them. It's like Amsterdam or some weird.
Oh, just totally different.
Yeah, it's the same as the same game, same basic theme, but just different city names.
Okay, there you go.
For some unknown reason.
Okay, so what you're doing in this particular Feld, your point salady goodness for today, is you've got kind of like a 2/3 and a 1/3 chunk of the map. Your 1/3 it's like city with roads and stuff through it. And on the buildings in there that you're going to visit to have different goods, little good tiles, and you want to go and get these things. Okay, so you get those. Now what you're going to do with these little goods is on the other 2/3 of the map, you got this cool like ocean and different places you can stop, and the different locations that you stop at want certain specific goods. Coincidentally, it's the goods that you're picking up out of the town. Oh, how does this come together, you say? Well, now you're going to be moving around in the city. You're also going to be moving around your boat. You're trying to balance these two. You want to get a slot of the one type of good, because the more you sell of those goods when you drop them off, you're going to get more victory points. Fancy that. You also have kind of don't you have a longest road thing going on
biggest
with the
cluster of buildings, like a clump. You want to get adjacent buildings.
That's right. That's what it is. So you've also got that going on, which the goods are not all next to each other. So you kind of have to pick and choose which way you want to go with this. Oh, there's so much going on. And if those two parts of the map weren't busy enough, then Feld throws a little line dividing in the two parts of the map up, and it's like a little road. And if you get first, you can spend your extra cubes and stuff on that, and you go first place on the road. Then you get to go and break ties and go first in the round and stuff like that. So it's like all the stuff going on the map. It's pretty efficient. I like the map, scoring around the edge and all that kind of good stuff. So as far as Felds go, this is not one of his heavier ones. It's just a busy one. It's really good. It's another one of those that plays in the sweet spot around an hour, hour and a half. I just love it. I love the decisions between, do I want to collect the goods? Do I want and spend a lot of the time shipping everywhere? Because you have to spend a lot of energy getting your ships to move very far. It takes a lot of work. Or do I want to stay in the city and try to do, like you said, those clusters where you get the victory points for getting a whole bunch in a row? Good choices, all good choices. Fun times.
So you basically, it's funny, you described the car without describing how big the engine is. So I'm
good at that.
So it's you're drafting cards, and the cards.
That's true.
The cards are kind of give you superpowers that make you very unique. But the central part of the game is that how you get your cubes, and the cube you use.
I didn't even talk about the cubes. I just said
you use cubes to get the goods. You use the cubes to drive your boat around. You use cubes to move up the thing. You use cubes to build the building. It's all about cubes, and there's like 6 different colors.
I think there's 6 different colors.
I don't know. There's lots of different colors.
5 or 6 for sure.
But you have this little like compass-looking thing, and
I hadn't even gotten to that yet.
And so basically, you're drafting dice, and based on dice are all the different colors. And the higher the number of the dice, the more cubes you get. But the further along in the game you get them. So if I draft a blue 5, for example, I'm gonna get 5 cubes, but I'm gonna get it 5 turns from now. Whereas if I draft like a red 1, and I'm going to get 1 cube, and I'm going to get it 1 turn from now. So it's kind of a balance. You got to kind of balance it out, or you're going to have horrible turns and some great turns if you don't balance it out. There's lots of different aspects of that, and you need all the cubes to show up at the same time, certain colors, because you don't save cubes from round to round. So if you need a building needs a red, a green, a purple, you need to make sure all those land on the same turn. So you kind of
it's so much juggling.
So that's the puzzle of the game, of how you drive and get to buy the buildings and drive the boats and all that stuff, which is really interesting, really challenging, sometimes frustrating.
Well, yeah, because the dice roll and then they might
you're like, I need a red 3, I need a red 3, and you don't get a red 3. So then you're like, I need a red 2, I need a red 2. They don't get that. I need a red 1.
It just gets worse and worse. And it's funny because I was talking in my last 10 about those, the ones with those weird Uwe Rosenberg mechanisms where you got the resources that go in a dial like that.
Right.
And I like this just a hair better. I really love the way you have to pick and choose when I want to get those cubes, because otherwise disaster can happen.
Right.
You definitely plan ahead. You really want to plan ahead in this game. And sometimes it's great. You may think, oh, this is kind of a crummy turn now. But later on, you're saving up and you have like this crazy big round
12
later.
cubes in one round.
Oh, my gosh. So, yeah, it's funny. Oh, man, there's just so many good things. And the cards are all really interesting, too. And they have a lot of unique abilities and things that'll help you make a little bit of an engine to help with the cubes and different things. It's pretty cool. So,
yep, it's a good one.
There you go.
It's one of my favorite Felds.
It is. It is a darn good Feld. Love Macau. So there you go. That was my 49. So now my number 48 is also a medium heavy game, and it is new to the list. And that is this little beauty right here, Alchemists. So we're late to the party.
Very late to the party.
Because when did this come out?
I don't know.
17?
Long time ago. Dark Ages.
Dark Ages. Back in the days.
I had no idea. It was at least 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
At least.
Okay. Ancient times. Ancient times.
Now I'm
Prehistory.
curious. I'll never know. Keep talking.
So Alchemist is a giant puzzle game, basically. And it's so funny because you're trying out these different formulas and stuff, and you're trying to make the best one, and you're selling them to make money and whatnot. What's hilarious about this is you've got like these potions, and you can try them yourself, but you could actually hurt yourself. Or you can hire some students have them try the potions for you and see what happens to them. It is stinking hilarious. I love the theme for this. But yourself, you have like a little screen in your own playmat area, and it's got like a big triangle puzzle. And it's got the different lists of the resources. Oh, you going to show one? And yeah, right there.
Well, this is
Perfecto.
the formula itself.
Yeah, there's the formula. Player. Well, it's close enough. This is the. Oh, no, this is the. Oh, anyway. Oh, here you go. It's right here.
Oh.
So you have this. This is the key. This is the player mat, and it's inside these screens that he was pulling out. So you've got the ingredients here, and then you have some other stuff that you'll be putting in the sides and whatever. And you're trying to figure out, does this flour mix with this frog and make something cool? Yes. You put a plus sign. No. Basically, you're trying to piece together where the best combinations are. It's totally a logic puzzle. It's fantastic. And after a while, you can start to figure out, you can see a little bit of a pattern, but you have to work your way through some trial and error, of course, first to get some information to start with, which is why you're always giving your experiments to your students or, heaven forbid, try it yourself, right? That is such a fun puzzle. Now, what's interesting about this, and one of the reasons that it took us so long to get this game to our table, was that this comes with an app. They recommend that you either set aside a person, if you have enough players, that actually does all the calculations themselves, and that's their game, or you use an app, and the app automatically calculates what the results are for you. Because there's a lot of stuff going on in there. It's pretty complicated. We tried it with the app. We had a ball.
Right.
Had a blast with it. We were always hesitant to play those app games for a really long time because it was like, well, we're trying to get away from the phones while we're playing with board games. But this is a really fun blend of it. You only really pull that out when you're going to be doing the actual calculations. The rest of the time you can just put it away and play the game and enjoy it.
Right.
I love this puzzle. I love the logic puzzle. I don't know what happened. I used to hate logic puzzles when I was younger, and now I'm just like, this is the coolest thing. It's just so much fun. So if you haven't tried this and you like puzzly games, this is a fantastic one. 120 minutes, so it's a heavy hitter.
Yeah, you're doing a real good job of describing these games.
No, thank you.
I really have nothing to do.
Oh, really? You could be the Vanna White.
No, that's a good one. I wouldn't want to necessarily play this game with a moderator, with the person being the check person, because it'd be easy to mess that up, and I think it would be boring personally. I don't know.
I think
you said you actually might like it. But
I think I might.
No, but the app's nice. You can either.
No, it's great. It's
basically you're mixing two different ingredients together. It's going to give you a result. You can either manually just say I'm mixing a mushroom and a frog or whatever, and it tells you what is a bad potion, good potion, whatever. Or you can actually physically just scan the two cards. You put the two cards in front of you and you have a little holder, and you just scan the two cards. We found it was easier just to manually. All you do is click the two cards and hit combine. It's really cool. I really enjoyed it. I was hesitant for the app, and I was also hesitant because I thought it'd be was the whole game was this puzzle, but there's actually worker placement and
there's so
money
much to
management and dealing with things, and there's different ways to go about figuring things out, and it's kind of a race to figure out what the good combos are so that you can sell those off for the most money. It was just I really enjoyed it quite a bit. In fact, I think this is when we played like back to back.
Yes, it is.
We played it. We're like
we got to do this again.
We'll do it again. We're going to play this again.
It's really great that way.
Really enjoyed it. It's a good one. Like she said, we were a little late to the party just because app things aren't really our jam, as the kids say. They say that these days. I don't know.
No.
Anyway, so I enjoyed it. It's cool. If you like super crazy puzzly games, this is definitely one for you. But it has that kind of worker placement-y action selection thing going
which is
on,
fun.
which adds another layer.
Which we like. Yeah,
So
if you like that, then it's even more so your cup of tea.
it's a good one. It's kind of long game, but that's okay.
But I feel like because, I don't know, maybe it's just because I got deep into the excitement of trying to puzzle everything out that I didn't notice how much time passed.
Yeah.
It was one of those games because you really can get involved with it because you start to see this, you're like, okay, wait, if this is this, then this is this, if A N plus B is C kind of thing. And you can start to do some things too.
And there's some better tests that you can do that really help you. Like with this one combo is going to help you just a little bit, but there's just a really good combo that's going to give you lots of information. It's kind of almost like Clue in a way.
I was about to say that.
Because it's kind of a race to figure
Clue.
things out. Because once you figure out how to make certain potions, when the people are wanting that potion, you're like, I know how to make that. Boom, I can do it. So it's a good one. Super puzzly, super long, but worth the journey.
Definitely, yes. Fun times. All right, so that was my 48. So now my 47 was my 62. We got to play this again. And it's a monster heavy hitter. This is another heavy duty game.
Oh dear.
That is the Colonists. This is almost a big game in a small box. That tells you how big this game is. So this game is, I don't want to say episodic, but almost, because you can play one full-size board game, which is just one era, or you can go up and do like 4 eras and make a whole epic day of this thing. It's insane. And you start out with like prehistory and you have sticks and rocks and that's it. You start building up. And then you go to the next era where, hey, we're starting to, make some clay, maybe some iron and blah, 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 doing some stuff. And you go to the next era. I mean, each time you're starting to get more and more advanced and you're doing more and more with your colony. And I love it. You're doing tiles, placing tiles out and building up your engine. Because, of course, you're building and using these resources to build out and build up your city. Oh, man. Worker placement, tile laying. What else? I mean, it's got so much in it. Cards, the superpowers. Oh, my goodness.
Different buildings. Anyway, the
heavy.
What's really neat about this game, I mean, it's epic. It's not really worker placement. It's really more action selection.
Well, yeah.
In a way, you're moving a worker around, but you're just picking among actions.
Tomatoes.
Basically, your movement around the board there's ways to allow you to move further, but basically you're going from one hex to maybe you got a range of 2 hexes, so you can move something within 2 hexes. Or there's ways to increase your range and get more movement. You're doing certain, basically achievements for certain areas. The first one to do the achievement gets stuff, but you're going through the eras. And what's cool, like she said, is that you can say, okay, we're just going to do the first era, and that's it. And that's it. You can just do that. Or you can do, there's 4 different ones, so you can do 1 and 2, or you can do 2 and 3, or you can do all 4 and spend like 4 days playing the game.
Well, and it's interesting too because, like you said about the achievements, I'd almost get like almost a Scythe vibe, like because you're going for achievements. But you could hover around a little bit and play around with it more, and the game goes a little longer. Right. So it's like you can race straight to them, or I don't know. I feel like this game is pretty wide open. It's almost, I don't want to say it's sandboxy because it's not that at all. You have definitive goals, but your path to them could be straight, or you could weave around a little bit. You have some wiggle room with it. And I think that's one of the reasons I like it so much. And the movement, oh my gosh. So as you're placing these tiles, though, you can really hose yourself up and paint yourself into a corner if you don't plan ahead a lot.
Yeah, it makes it so you can isolate certain actions that people want to take away, and it makes it very hard to get to them because you kind of have to do the actions. If you can't just get to the spot, you have to kind of do stuff along the way. And if you're not utilizing those spaces, it could be wasted. But if you design it in such a way that it's helpful for me to get to this important spot, I can do stuff along the way. But maybe Rebecca, to get there, she's basically wasting those actions to get to that spot. So how you design the board, you start off with there's a few hexes and grows and grows and grows and grows. And if you do the full 4 eras, you got this big, massive
monster
board of tons of hexes. But I recommend just the first time I played it solo. This is solo. You can play this solo.
Oh,
I just played one era solo, and it takes about half an hour. So you go, boom! I learned the first era. Now I can teach it, and then you can just play the second era by itself. Learn how that works. And there's different ways to go about learning this beast of a game without going through the full 4 eras. It says 30 minutes to 4 hours, but I think if you play 4 players, all 4 eras, you're looking at 6 to 8 hours.
Oh yeah, easy. So many choices and decisions in this game.
Maybe, I don't know how you would say, 30 minutes a person per era.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That might be That might be pretty accurate.
Yeah.
But like any game, the more you play it, the quicker the game gets. So it's a good one. If you're looking for, I know a lot of people like the epic experience of like a Twilight Imperium or a War of the Ring or Eclipse or a big epic thing. This is kind of the Euro version of that. It's like an epic Euro game where you feel like you're really progressing, you're growing as time goes by.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And man, it's just looking at it again, I'm like, wow, there's so much in here. So much. Yep. I mean, it really does bother. And I think you could get a heck of a lot of play out of it because of the way it sets up with the arrows and everything. Yep. So bang for your buck. If you can find this one, that'd be a good one. That is 47. So my 46 is also heavy.
Heavy games.
It's pretty heavy. Yeah, I was going to say, it's pretty heavy now. This was my 84, but that was after one play. We've gotten to play it again, and it jumped, obviously. That is Tekkenu. So, Tekkenu, one of the T games, as people like to call them, this is a heavy-duty game, too. It's got its little gimmicky bit is it's got a little plastic obelisk thingy that goes in the middle of the game. But what's really cool is how the obelisk works. There's going to be different resources that you utilize at different times, and it depends on the time of day and how the sun is hitting the obelisk. So on each side of this, and this will turn or whatever, the resources around it. So this area right here, for example, is in full sun right now. So you get to do certain colored cubes and dice. Is it dice? Yeah, dice. Certain colored dice work in full sun, and then there's some that sort of work, but and then there's some that just don't work in this particular in full sunlight here. And then over here, well, this is full darkness, so a certain set of dice that work great in darkness will be over here, but the ones that are in sunlight, won't work and stuff like that. So there's all this going on around here. Well, what does that do? That triggers a bunch of other things that are spread out throughout the board from there. Well, if you unlock a bunch of these dice, you're able to go over here, get the materials to build a monument, which is worth victory points, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there's all these little mini things going on all over around the board based off of what's going on with the obelisk. Oh my goodness. Heavy. This one took a while for you to explain just because you had to explain, okay, well, that's great. This works for the sun. Now here's how it is when it's dark. Yeah. Like there's all these different phases that you have to do. But I think, I don't know. What do you feel? Do you feel like reteaching that's going to be as hard next time? Yeah. Yeah, basically, it's pretty I don't heavy. Know, if you played Trajan, it reminds me a lot of Trajan because there's all these different mini games. So there's basically, I think there's 6 different regions of the board. And you're doing a different activity in all those regions. Each region does something a little different. You're building monuments. You're doing something over here. You're drafting cards. You're doing this other thing. All these different things are going on. Meanwhile, you're utilizing those dice, and you got to have balance in the dice. So if you draft a ton of white dice and not very many of the dark, there's black and it's white, yellow, and brown. I think. Dice, and if you get too many of one kind, it throws you out of balance, and there's negative repercussions for that. There's just a lot going on. It's hard to teach, and all the different regions kind of interact. So if you do something over here, it benefits you over here, and it's a lot going on in this game. But it all kind of once you know what's going on, and I explain everything that's happening, then it goes real smoothly. It makes a lot of sense. If I do this here, then it gives me a benefit here. If I draft too many of these dice and this, and how the obelisk rotates and turns, and what's going on with that, you can start to predict what's going to happen. Right, that gets easier. I find it
fascinating, the game, because there's a lot of different ways to. Last time we played it, I think she went heavy in drafting the cards. I forget what the cards are called, but she drafted a ton of cards, gave her lots of benefits, and she really did really well that way. I always try to do the little temple thing or whatever is up in the corner where you're building the little pillars. So it's almost kind of reminds me a little bit like Target. You got these pillars going on, and they intersect, and you get benefits based on that. Stuff. It's a good one. It's one of probably one of my favorite tea games. Is it my favorite tea game? Possibly. So yeah, this is a good one. We need to get this one played again. It reminds me a little bit of like the same issue we had with Bora Bora back in the day. We would play it, and then we would get about halfway through and like, oh,
that's right.
This is how it works. And then we don't play it for a while, and then we how do we do that? I'm confused. Oh wait, this is how it works. This, I guarantee when we go back to this one, we're going to be like, okay, I'm starting to get it. Oh, and then the game's over. So
you have to play it twice. That's just how it works.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot. If you like games that have a lot of different almost mini games that you can do and utilize this, and have lots of different choices, this is a good one, and it has the gimmick of the little obelisk that's spinning around it.
Well, what's amazing, like you said too, is if you do it right, sometimes what you're doing in one mini game will change so that you're able to use what happened benefits you in another one later on, or right there. So, oh man, it's just brain melting goodness. We'll put it that way.
Pretty much.
Tikenu.
It's a good one. It's a good one. If you like the other tea games like Zulkin and
Tawantinsuyu.
That one. And no, I'm thinking of Teotihuacan.
Oh, Teotihuacan.
That's probably one of the most.
Tenochtitlan.
Zulkin and Teotihuacan are the two probably the most well known. If you like those games, then you'll probably like this one as well.
For sure. So my number 45 was my 53. So it's kind of settling a little bit around here. And that is The Greatness. And I know you like this game.
I do like
The Greatness of the Great Western Trail. We have the original. This got a reprint.
Amazing art.
Woohoo! Look at that. So yeah, this is a game where, as Hunter likes to so eloquently put it, you get crappy cows and you try to trade them in and breed them and get better cows.
Less crappy cows.
I was going to say cool cows, but okay. It's worker placement, so you're going through the trail, bringing your cows through, because eventually you're going to get to Kansas City and you're going to sell them off for making steak. But until then...
You might not be selling them for steak.
Making footballs?
You could be selling them... Ooh.
Leather?
No, selling them for pets.
Really?
Okay, you're probably making steaks.
Okay, let's get real here. Lots of pet cows going through Kansas City.
This game is brutal.
It's food. Okay, so anyways, you're going through and you're herding your cows. That's the theme here. But oddly enough, instead of herding all the same kind of cow, you're going to try to get all different cows in your hand.
You want a variety of cows.
It's usually not how breeding works, but okay. So we're just gonna suspend our disbelief there for that part of it. But you're going through and trying to get different hands, and how you do that is you're going to have to go through and eventually you go to the market and you buy some different cows because this is a deck builder, and so you're building up, a deck builder for cows, and you have your little worker and you're going through and you can build buildings to help you along the way that give you different opportunities to like buy things, or because you can buy the cows, you can sell cows, you can build buildings, you can get some extra workers to make buying the cows cheaper, or you have a train that trains them away from Kansas City. You want to get farther along on the track each round, so you might want to get an engineer that makes that easier. There's the carpenter guy that helps you build the buildings for cheaper. Like there's all this stuff going on over there too. So much good stuff. But there's also hazards along the way that might block your path you have to pay for, or somebody puts a building that requires you to pay a fee for traveling past it. Crazy stuff like that. So you're going through and you just go to Kansas City, the reset, start over again, just like you do on the trail. You bring your cows up, sell them off, head back and go get some more. Just doing that over and over until somebody wins. It's
somebody usually wins. Anyway,
somebody usually wins.
No, I was gonna say someone usually wins.
Oh, me?
No.
You
don't remember my reputation? This was a game that for the longest time I never won this game.
That's right. Until we got the expansion.
I lost. Oh, no, I won before the expansion, but the expansion definitely did help.
Yeah.
But I lost and lost and lost. I loved the game so much.
And then
I probably lost the first 4 or 5 times I played this game, and then now I win it all the time.
Yeah, well,
not all the time.
Stupid.
I win my fair share. Let's say that. Anyway, this is a good one. This one it just has a lot going on, but it's really fun. It's all about hand management, basically.
It really is.
Manipulate the whole thing is not the whole thing, but a good portion of it is manipulating your hand, where you have, like she said, a unique set of cows. You want all different cows when you get there because you get more points. If you have duplicates, you basically don't score those at the end. So
you want one of each kind to possibly get something out of it, right?
So it's really about building the best hand of cards you can on your way to the end point. And like she said, you repeat over and over. And so you're trying to, you basically empty your hand, you draw a new hand, and you're manipulating that hand for the next round.
So much fun.
It's a really great game.
I love
There's
it.
lots of different ways. You can go like heavy on the cowboys to get you cheap cows. You can go heavy on the engineer and try to travel. That's what I did last time we played. It was like, okay, I hear that the engineer thing is the cool thing to do. So I did that, and I would have traveled further than I ever traveled that I did. And the guy like, oh, you guys can travel long ways. Different ways to play, different things to do. You can do a combination of everything, focus in on one thing. All of them seem to be pretty good.
Well, there's even these little like contracts that really don't have anything to do with the cows, but like buildings you build or houses you buy, or there's various different little goals that they have with other stuff that you're doing during the game.
Yep.
And you can get some crazy victory points from doing those if you focus on those too. So, I mean, it's just some combination therein is what I usually end up doing.
Right.
But you could go crazy with that too and be kind of meh on the cows and probably do pretty well.
So if you like turning crappy cows into great cows, or would you call them cool cows?
Cool cows.
Then this might be the game for you.
There you go, Great Western Trail. Nice ad there. Nice plug. But yeah, it's a super fun game. Okay. So my 44 jumped up from my 61. That's probably because we got the cool expansion to it, and we have fancy bits, and we got a new successor game to it that just brought back just how awesome this game is. Oh, this is the monstrosity that is Raccoon Tycoon. This includes the Fat Cat expansion. See the Fat Cat? The art in this is, first of all, absolutely gorgeous and ridiculous. The production for this is ridiculous.
If you get the
and gorgeous. This is the
deluxe,
super fancy schmancy edition.
Yeah.
But honestly, the art and stuff is over the top, regardless of what group, what type of game you get of this. So in this game, you've got to go and get the most victory points, and how you're doing that is pairing up different things. You want to get some. The name of is it towns? They call them towns?
And train railroads. Roads and towns.
It is towns. Okay. So towns and railroads, and you want to pair those up, and you want to get pairs, and you have to go about drafting these things and auctioning them off and fighting for them. And then meanwhile, there's all these goods, and there's a stock market. Did I mention there's a stock market? I'm not usually crazy about a stock market, but I love this one. Because you're going through, and as you do, you're doing all these different things and building up your cards, and then they start to go up. And then somebody, hopefully you, takes advantage of that and sells all your goods, makes a stupid amount of money because that's, victory points and stuff. And the price tanks for that, so everybody else that has the stocks, they're out the money. And so, you get to play with that. You want to keep track of those goods while you're doing all of this. Meanwhile, we're all duking it out to get the best pairs, because if you pair those off with those towns and the trains, then you're going to get a whole bunch of victory points. Meanwhile, I'm gawking at the art in between turns because the art's really cool. And then Hunter usually does something sneaky with the stock market when I'm not paying attention. So don't get stuck looking at the art like I do. Let's see, what else?
You cover most of it.
I cover most of it.
There's also buildings that you can get that give you superpowers.
Super special,
But the main thing is the collecting the railroads is like a set collection. So if you want to get all the little raccoon guys, that you get lots of points. So they're basically fighting not only to get the sets you need, but also
same types.
There are different types of railroads. So You may really want the raccoons, and Rebecca goes, no, you can't have the raccoon. I'm going to buy it away from you, and you cry.
Well, it's pretty funny, yeah, because we'll be, all of a sudden, I'm like, I really want to go for all the cats.
Kind of scared to open it.
And you want to open it?
You're
scared to open it? Oh, nice.
Insert, and
I tilted it. I know.
Yeah, but
and so I'll be going for the cats, but Hunter knows that I'm going for cats now. So he sees one come up and we're going to start bidding. He's totally going to raise that price up, if nothing else, just to make me pay more for it. Or he may snipe it from me just to be. It's that good, huh? It's that. Okay. Well, now we know. But you're limited on the number of.
I was going to show you the art, but we can.
Hey, look at that! You can look at the back.
You might be able to see that. Like, there's a little raccoon, there's a little cat, a little pup dog, and a little rabbit. Little rabbit. Those.
But it's fun because you also have to balance out because you're limited on how many goods you can store, and so you have to play the stock market at some point and sell it off or do something with it, because otherwise you're going to run out of space, and then you're going to really want those things, and it's not going to have room for you. So.
Yeah, she keeps mentioning stock market. It's a very introductory, super simple.
Oh yeah, it's not complicated. No,
it's basically you have six different kinds of goods,
something
maybe.
Like that, yeah.
And as people play cards, the price of the goods, like she said, goes up, and then when you sell it, it drops the goods. So it has that same kind of stock market field of the prices going up and down, but it's really just resource management. It's not really a true stock market. If you're looking for an introductory, kind of get you the feel for a stock market game, this will.
And it's actually really fun. Actually, really fun.
You're saying that other stock market games aren't fun?
Possibly. Somebody likes stock market games more than me.
Take this out of here.
But no, I love this game.
You got a real stock market game in there somewhere?
No, I don't. That's as close as we're getting today, sir. Yes. So that is Raccoon Tycoon, my number 44. My number 43 was my number 40 last year, so I think it's settled quite happily where it belongs. And I think you're going to be happy with this one, too, because you love the Oracle of Delphi. Really? I'm curious to see where this lands on you
my
this year.
My faileds last year dropped
I was going to say.
But you're on a boat.
You are on a boat. So the Oracle of Delphi is not like his typical games, which might be kind of off-putting for some people, but for us, we fell in love with it. It's a race. So instead of just point salading, getting the most victory points, you're racing to accomplish a set number of tasks before everyone else does. So this is a game all about efficiency as much as possible, because you want to take your boat, and as you're going, you want to say, oh, look, I can get the resource for this one thing on the way to go fight the monster, and then I can pick up this to go drop it off. I mean, the whole time you're thinking of all the different tasks and how best to fill them out, because you got different things. You fight mythological creatures, you're putting a temple up, or you're putting a statue in a temple, and there's other stuff too. There's like 5 different tasks or something, but it's, oh my goodness. And then there's a really interesting way to, you kind of move the boats around, and the gods give you powers based off of the die roll, because you have these colored dice that are like one for each of the gods. And you roll those and they give you superpowers. There's actually a track to keep track of how much the gods favor you. And once you hit the top of those, they give you a cool bonus action that's unique to each god. Oh, it's so good. So you want to tweak the right tracks at the right times if at all possible, but sometimes it's hard to do that, and just luck of the draw. Some of the stuff, by the way, is hidden information. So some of the stuff on the islands is at the temples. I think the types of temples.
The shrines.
I think one of them, they're upside down. They're face down. Until you explore them, you don't know what they are. So you do have to do some exploration and find out what's going on. Some people can find that out and not tell you. There's all sorts of craziness going on. So it's an exciting race. It says 60 to 100 minutes. I think for us, it's right around the hour mark now. We just go flying through it. Oh, it's so good. I love Oracle of Delphi.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dice-based game, but there's tons of way to manipulate the dice. I enjoy it. I just like that it's very unique. It's very racy. It seems like every time we Racy, that's not the right word.
That's not the right. You don't want to say racy. As in, there's a lot of racing.
Like a tacky, racy.
Racy. No, not that kind of racy, dear.
Racy?
This is G-rated. G-rated. It's not racy.
This is like my sect that I mispronounced.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Like I said in the comments to the previous video, I should come with a warning label. Anyway. I love this game because it's very different. And it seems like every game it's coming down to, oh my gosh, he's got one more goal left. I got two. Okay, I got to figure out how to get 2 goals this turn.
Always.
And you really got to avoid going off in the middle of nowhere to do this one task. You're like, I got to find something to do on the way out there. I'm not going to waste my time driving all the way out there without accomplishing something on the way.
You'll just be toast.
But it's a great game. It was and might still be my favorite Feld. I won't say until I do my video. Until
look at all sorts of clues, hints, and things.
But I love it. I love it. It's very unique. But this one gets panned by a lot of Feldians. Is it Feldians or Feld fans? I like Feldians. Anyway, they think it is so unique that it doesn't feel like you're playing a Feld game, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. But that doesn't make it a bad game.
I was going to say that doesn't make it not a Feld game. I don't know. Stop being snooty, Feldians.
Feldians. You know who you are.
Wait a minute. I want to be a Feldian. I am a Feldian.
Stop being racy.
Racy? Oh, goodness. Onward to the next thing. Okay.
What just happened?
I don't even know. You're just off the rails. Okay, so speaking of off the rails, actually.
RACE-Y. Racy.
I love that you still have to come back to this. He's like, here's my coffin. Nail. Okay, anyway. So, number 42. Explain to me.
Best number ever.
It is the answer to life, the universe, and everything. And it's also to a game that went from 114 to 42.
All right. I've been explaining these every time. Let's see if I can come up with a good one.
Well, I know why this one.
Oh, you know why?
I do know why.
Oh, I don't know why. Why was it so low before?
Because I think we hadn't played it in a while, and I kind of like forgot about it. Honestly, when
I always liked this game,
and I've always liked this game, but we hadn't been playing it, and I was like, oh, it's gonna.
Was it maybe that we went through the campaign and it kind of faded? You didn't like the campaign.
I did not like the campaign as much. I think that was a lot of it, and then we got to play it again, and then we got to play it, excuse me, with friends, and so it's like, oh, wham! It exploded. It's back, baby. Space. So I'm like advertising for it.
I have nothing.
You know what? No, you don't. You have nothing. So this is the Space Machikoro Plus. I love this 20,000 billion times more than Machikoro. This is what I wanted Machikoro to be.
Oh my goodness.
It is.
20,000 billion.
Yes. That's the exact number, by the way. So take notes. Anyways, so what you have a board. And it's numbered 1 through 12. And then you get these cool little tiles, and they give you cool abilities and perks and things, anywhere from money to victory points, some combination in between, you don't know. And depending on what you roll 2 dice each turn, and you can decide if you want to score them individually. Like, say I roll a 4 and a 2. I can score my 6, or I can score my 4 and my 2 separately. So I get to decide that. That's cool. Okay. So I score those. Now, say I buy more, there's a nice big tableau of all sorts of options of different levels of, basically they're more expensive and they give you more and more abilities. And I start purchasing those, and then I take the old one and I tuck it over the top, and it gives you a cool little ability so that when it's Hunter's turn and he rolls 2 dice, I can do the same thing with the abilities that are on the top cards. So now I've got these top tier cards. Hunter rolls a 4 and a 2. I can decide if I want to score my top 6 or my top 4 and my 2, see what's better for me, and then I get to score those on his turn. So anything that's in front of you, you roll on your turn and you get stuff, and then the stuff that's at the very top, when other people are playing, you get stuff too. So you're never going to have dead time in this game, because when they're doing something, you get something potentially too. So you want to build up your tableau really well so that you got a lot of cool stuff up at the top, plus cool stuff that you're going to get on your turn. And then the first person, I think it's 40 victory points, I want to say, wins the game. And later on in the game, you want to switch gears from this cool engine building you're doing to buying this other set of cards over here. And those have nothing but big chunks of victory points on them. But you can't replace them, and they do it as a one shot, and they're done. So when you start doing those, you're basically killing what's possible on your turn. Oh, it's so good. So good. I love this game so much.
It's all right.
I basically taught you how to play the game. I'm serious.
It's all right.
What? How dare you,
You
sir?
definitely love this a lot more than I
do. I love this game. It's so much fun.
Just okay. Just okay. I mean, it's a fun game. I'll play it, but it's like...
You roll dice and do things, and you're like, meh. You know why? Because it's not heavy. That's why. That's why he's hating on this game.
No. Here's my hard-hitting opinion.
Oh, boy. Here he goes.
The game basically plays itself.
That is not true, sir. Not true. How dare you?
It's okay. I do enjoy the game, but it's like high 7, low 8.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
He's snubbing a game and he's thinking 8. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. This is a good game.
But
8 out of 10.
I think it almost at this point to be in my top 100, it has to be almost a 9 to make it my top 100. So this wouldn't even be close to my top 100.
How dare he?
It's okay. It's a good game. Roll some dice.
Don't listen to him. He's just a hater. Don't talk to me or my son ever again.
Man, you were batting 1,000 until
I know, and then I had a lighter game.
Until you rolled out Space Base and you ruined everything.
And here he comes. I knew it was going to happen sooner or later. I knew the troll.
See if you redeem yourself.
No, probably not. So my 41 for today dropped a little bit. It's kind of settling. It was number 33 last year, possibly because we haven't really played it in a while. And that is the pretty game that Hunter snubs that's called Yamatai.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Meh.
It's all right.
Anyway, so the meh game here.
It's all right.
It is 41, good sir. 41.
Good sir.
Yes, good sir.
Sorry, madame.
Maybe you're bad, sir. Be gone, peasant. So, Yamatai. Pretty game. Nice and colorful. You're on a boat again. How do you not like this? You're on lots of boats.
You're building a chain of boats. You're not really on a boat.
So you could do like those action movie things where they run from the boat to the boat?
Something like that.
See, that'd be really cool. So you have a bunch of multicolored boats. And the colors do things, of course, abilities and stuff based on the color, which is really cool. And you build a chain of boats, and they have to do it in a set pattern to be able to get, I know, different things. Shocking, right?
Different things.
I know, it's great. But there's also the islands. You get to explore the island and lay claim to them, or you can also get resources. It's more like it's not really a resource.
Like a token.
A token, yeah, from the middle of the island. And there's a set collection thing going on with those, and you can do a bunch of different stuff with that. But you also get a little bit of, the more areas you control, the more victory points and stuff you get for that too.
Get superpower guys.
Yeah, the superpower guys are really neat.
What do they call them in this game?
I always forget what they're called. This is very similar to 5 Tribes. 5 Tribes, yes. So 5 Tribes, you know how you have people that give you special abilities and stuff.
They are called specialists.
Oh, they're just specialists?
Yes.
Okay. But what's neat too, I really love this. I love the way the game flows and the patterns and stuff that you do with collecting the islands and going through and trying to get those boats and do the different types of actions to get these. Is how you get to be first player or second player or whatever too, because they lay out a whole bunch of different abilities and they have really good stuff, but you probably are going to go last, typical with a lot of other games nowadays. Or you get one type of boat, but you're going to get to go first in the round. So you're debating whether or not, do I want to get a whole lot of different boats and be able to do a lot of different things, but I'm going to go later. He might take that island from me. You have all these choices to make. I like it. I think it's fun. It's gorgeous. It's fun to play with all the pieces. It's pretty to look at. And it's also, I want to say it's pretty quick. Yeah, 40 to 80 minutes. And I would say it's probably in that 40 to 60 minute range max for us. And that's if we completely somehow were to forget how to play it, I think at this point. It plays pretty smoothly. And relearning it again after playing it, it gets easier too. It's one of those that's a really smooth playing game and it makes sense intuitively. So I like it a lot. Somebody is a snob.
I'm not a snob. I'm above this game. Get this trash out of here. No, it's
fun.
a good game. I
heavy.
enjoy it. I wouldn't pass up a play of it. It is lovely. Look how lovely. I think this won our best box art
Years ago.
7 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a good game. It's smooth. If you like Five Tribes and you want something adjacent to Five Tribes, this is a pretty good one. It has a similar feel in terms of you get those specialists that give you superpowers.
Yeah.
There's it's good.
It's quite lovely. It's not a 41 for him, but it's 41.
I enjoyed it a lot when it first came out, and it kind of cooled, so it's kind of landing a little lower on my list.
I heard that. That wasn't sneaky.
It's okay.
Why are we still whispering?
I don't know. It's a good one. It's Days of Wonder production, which is off the charts. It's beautiful. It's amazing to look at. It's got great table presence. You're building these palaces and things on it that look really cool.
Yeah, getting even more victory points.
It's a great game. Like I said, it does. It's not Five Tribes, but it feels comfortable. It feels like home. If you like Five Tribes, Yamatai will feel like home. Whatever that means.
Interesting. I think he's kind of right, though.
I'm always right.
No. Because you would have this at 41 if you were right.
Oh, okay. It might be my 41. You don't know. You don't know me.
Oh, I know you. So, yes, you just witnessed the worst of the best. Next time, stay tuned for the next installation, which is 43-31. I think I got the numbers right. First try.
Did you say 43?
No, I said 40 through 31.
Yes, next time.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Click subscribe to join our wonderful viewer community.
Want to be notified when we upload a new video or go live? Click on the little bell below.